Welcome to another episode of No More Some Days. It's really good to be back with everybody. Happy Sunday.
Hi.
So we are going to be talking about time tonight, and I think it's going to be a really good discussion. So I'm excited. So are you ready to just dive right in?
Sure.
Cool. So have you ever found yourself thinking, I wish I had more time? I think we've all been there, right? I think this is a really common thing because I think we think if we had more time, we would get more done. And we're going to talk about this more, but that's really just a lie that we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better. Because if we're not being productive with the time that we have now, we won't be any more productive even if we had the full 24 hours a day, 7 days a week free. So basically we all get the same 24 hours every day. And so we have to be smart with how we use that time. And certain people don't have more or less. We all have the same amount. And we can choose to use that time more wisely or unwisely. And I love the scripture, Ephesians 5:16, that talks about, redeeming the time for the days are evil, meaning like make the most of the time that you have, because we only have so much time.
Yeah. I think time, also it's dependent on what would be productive for me may not be productive for you. There's there can be this culture where you have to be doing things 24/7 and you have to be producing either for your business or for your health or something.
Right.
And, maybe that works for some people and maybe that brings them joy, but we're not just talking about like running yourself ragged 24/7. We're talking about making the time work for you and for your family's needs and what is going to make your life the best possible for you. And that's going to look different for every person. So I think, like I said, there's this culture, especially in small businesses or entrepreneurs, that you just have to go and be full steam from when you wake up till when you go to bed. And there's no time for, relaxation or enjoyment or family time. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about optimizing your time that's going to work for you and make your day the best it can be.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Working harder isn't always better. And we're going to talk more about that. So we wanted to give you a few of our top tips when it comes to how you spend your time and how to make the most of it. So the first one is time inventory. And I know this is one you're really passionate about. So I know you probably have specific things that you want to say about it.
I don't know if really passionate is accurate, but I think, before you can know how to make your time better, you need to understand where it's going now. And this is a practice that people use in dieting. You don't want to start necessarily a new diet or know what your even targets are before you know what you're taking in. And a lot of time, either with your food or with your time, you think you're spending your time in an efficient manner, but then if you really tracked it for a while, you would look back and see that a lot of time is gone doing things that maybe value.
Right.
And the corollary, junk time would be, you don't realize that you're eating a lot of junk food if you did this for your diet. Right. And, one of the things a lot of people say is, I don't have time to do X, Y, and Z. But if you really took an inventory for a week or so and really tracked very carefully what you were doing from when you woke up to when you went to bed, you might see, I didn't realize that I was spending, 2 hours on social media, or I didn't realize that I would...
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, guys.
I was saying if you might notice that you were spending an hour or two at night watching television, or on the weekends especially, maybe you were watching even more TV, or just commuting, different things that you don't realize. So I think it's really important before you decide how to reprioritize your time that you at least take a week to really be diligent on writing down how you're using your time now. So that's from how long it takes you to eat, to getting ready in the morning, to taking a shower, to working out, to your family time, everything. Really be diligent about tracking that for at least a week to see where it's going.
Yeah, and I think this can be such a revealing process for you about, oh wow, I didn't realize I was spending that 2 hours doing X, Y, and Z. I didn't realize that I was kind of peeing away that time just surviving or just scrolling. And, yes, it's true. Sometimes we're just tired and we don't maybe make the best decisions. But I find what's true for myself, at least, is I don't know what I need to do next. I don't know what I need to be spending my time on in that downtime of, let's say, 15 minutes or 30 minutes. I don't have things in mind that I'm going to intentionally spend my time on. And that's what trips me up. So that's where I think it's really brilliant to use this schedule to see, or I should say, use this inventory to, kind of see where you are like you would for anything else. And time is a precious resource. It's not something you can make more of. So we want to use it the best way that we possibly can. And so taking inventory of how you're spending your time is super important. I even think of it like budgeting. You could think the same way, like, how am I spending my money? When you start tracking how much you're spending, you start realizing, like, oh, I was spending like $10 at X, Y, and Z twice a month, and I don't even need to do that. So you can start cutting away the fat and start to really focus in on, what do I want to really spend my time on, and how am I spending it on, how am I spending it now? Because a lot of the time there's so much literal chunks of time that we are spending unwisely, and we don't even realize it. And so that's why we think that creating a schedule for your week or for every day, just depends on what works best for you. Usually no more than a week is what I found to be helpful. I don't know, you may have a different philosophy on that, Matt, and I'd love to hear that as well. But I found that either like every day or for the week is like a good, amount of time, so it's not so far out. And I just give each hour an assignment. And I try to give myself leeway, like if I know sometimes you need rest, sometimes you need downtime, like that's important too. But give every hour an assignment.
Yeah, I think your calendar, a lot of people's are scheduling though in the future. So are you saying, I know you have a yearly calendar where things are broken out, but you're saying only schedule for the week.
Yeah, so when I say schedule for the week or for the day, depending on how you work, operate, I'm meaning for every hour. So what I'll do, for example, is I'll go through, obviously, and through my month, I'll write in like, okay, I know I have my friend in the morning, that Saturday morning, maybe it's me getting ready and, maybe making our bed or getting things, prepped for the day. Maybe putting in a load of laundry at 10 and getting like the dishes taken care of, having things that I kind of have checkpoints for each hour of the day so that I can feel like I'm getting the things I need to get done. And also I have maybe built in some time to rest and take a shower or other things that I know I need to be able to do that day. Does that make sense? Oh, okay, awesome. Do you have a way that works really well for you that's different than that, or is that how you do things?
No, not really. I think, it just is up to the person to experiment. I know a lot of people do it just day by day.
Yeah.
And it's because you want to have that flexibility as
Absolutely.
things change. You don't want to feel like you're stuck. And
Right.
so especially when it comes to work, when you're doing your 9 to 5, those things, if you're working a regular job, those things aren't necessarily all within your control. So you're going to have some flexibility. But I think at least looking at it, either Sunday night or Sunday, setting aside some time to look to the week ahead, at least that gives you some more general principles, so you feel like you're going into the week with a plan, and then you're able to adjust as the week goes on. And then even, you know, if you have time at the end of the day, every day to look, okay, what did I not get done today that I need to move to tomorrow? Or, you know, how do I need to rearrange things? I think that's also an important practice. And again, like we've talked about scheduling in the past and journaling and different things, like there's a lot of different options to do that.
Yeah.
Electronic or paper. So it just takes some research and experimentation to find out what works for you.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, like finding something that works for you and is doable. I was talking with a friend about this tonight that, you know, sometimes we're like so eager, especially like on January 1st, you know, we've got our brand new planner, brand new calendar, brand new schedule, brand new planner, journal, whatever you want to call it. And we sit down and we're like, yes, I'm going to do all the things. And we kind of overestimate or try to like set something that's like our minimum baseline is like so high that we feel overwhelmed by even hitting it, and then we're just like, I'm just gonna give up. And so that's why half of us, you know, abandon, or more I should say, abandon our New Year's resolution so quickly, because we set these bars that are so high. And I think that goes along with our schedule as well. So find the right fit for you. If it's electronic, if it's day by day, if it's week by week, whatever, find what works for you, be willing to experiment and figure out the best situation for you. And I think, you know, this, when you were talking about, like moving from one day to the next, I think it's important too that, you know, what we were just talking about with taking inventory, you can do that, like let's say now, and then work with a schedule for, or work with, you know, plan as best you can, as you know, throughout like the next 6 months, and then maybe take an inventory again, or maybe after 3 months or something like that. Like there's not a cap on how many times you can do that, because you could just continue to make that more efficient. And I've heard that is a fantastic thing to do on a regular basis, is take inventory and then make adjustments. Take inventory and then make adjustments. So you don't have to be like, you know, crazy to do this. But if you're already doing like, you know, giving each hour an assignment for, you know, a few months, you can just go back and look and see, okay, all right, this day, that didn't really work very well, or oh wow, I spent this huge chunk here and I really don't need to be spending this huge chunk here. And that really, you know, brings me to our third point, which is sometimes we spend our time on things that aren't our best use of us and our best use of our time. And Matt had this really good analogy of thinking about your time as a financial investment, like similar to a financial investment. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I just think, you know, if you have any kind of stocks or even a 401k, or you just know what a stock is, you understand that once you have a certain amount of money invested in it, you want to make adjustments. And if you have a high performing stock and a lower performing stock, then ideally you're going to move some of that money into where you're getting a higher return. And so thinking about your time as a stock, and where are you really seeing returns for what's best for you, and where are you seeing less returns? You know,
Right.
if it's spending, you know, too much time watching Netflix, like what are you getting? You really need to be honest with yourself and see, what am I getting out of that time? Yes, maybe you're getting some relaxation, but what are you sacrificing for that? Are there other things that you could be doing that are a higher value, whether that's spending, you know, conversation time with your family, whether that's going to work out, whether it's going to bed earlier, whether it's whatever. Really, is that time being put to good use, or can it be reallocated to something that's going to be a better return on investment of your time?
You know, this makes me think about people that we really look up to, like the Ed Miletts of the world, or the Eric Thomases of the world, or the, I don't know, fill in the blank for whomever you look up to. But those are a couple of people that I know we look up to. And just as far as, I mean, like in the business side of things and how they live their life, obviously there's a lot of people that can go on that list. And I was just thinking about what you were talking like about, you know, like spending face-to-face time, for example, with your family. Like, would you say that those people spend a lot of face-to-face time with their family, even though they're balancing like worldwide businesses?
I mean, I don't know. I would guess so. I'm not gonna.
I mean, I know we can't we can't peek into their lives, literally, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of, maybe this is just how they present, but a lot of, I feel like what they are about, they, at least for like Ed, he's really good at like, if you ever watch his stories, I feel like he's always like posting videos of his like dog or his house or spending time with his kids, or, you know what I mean? Like, not to say that he doesn't do other stuff for his business, he does, but I feel like he's so intentional and so purposeful with his time that he's spending more time with his family than maybe even an average person would. Or maybe, this is a guess, but maybe even more one-on-one, face-to-face, intentional, you know, really locked in moments with his family than a person who isn't taking inventory of their time, like who isn't really intentional about their time. You know, because you can be with your family, but be on your phone or be on your computer, you know? That was just something I was thinking about. Obviously, I mean, I know that's hard to measure and we can't like step into their lives.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see, I mean, it possibly,
I don't know. That's like the impression that I get, you know?
Sure.
That they are like so honed in and so focused on that. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I just have been thinking about this because, you know, when you're really intentional with your time, right? Like these people, they've got businesses that are worldwide, or they've got like a reach that's worldwide. Mm-hmm. If you know, like Eric Thomas, he's speaking all over the country at least, and then I'm sure he's spoken in other countries as well. So, you know, that alone is like a huge schedule, huge thing that he's balancing all the time, and he has a sick wife that he is also helping to take care of and want to spend time and intentional time, I would think, with her, especially with her days being numbered, and her quality of life not being amazing. Like, I don't know. I think about that. Like, I have an inkling, I have a feeling, at least the way that he talks, at least the way that he presents, gives me the impression that he is super intentional about that time. Because that's the thing. I mean, it doesn't matter if you are a worldwide business owner or you are I don't know, like, you work at McDonald's. It doesn't matter because you only have this, you all have the same amount of time, and illness can affect you regardless of your wealth status or whatever else. And I don't know. I just was thinking about that. Like, you would think that somebody who has a worldwide business, for example, has to be really intentional with their time. If nothing else, they have to be really smart about it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's nothing that says that you or I can't do that too and be really intentional.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to everybody to figure out what that balance is for them on their time, like we said, and getting the most use out of their time and how they see fit.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It's up to everybody, regardless of who you are or what you're doing, on how you allocate your time.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this just comes down to what is going to give you the most return on investment, you know? Like, what is this time that I'm spending face to face with my family valuable? Is it going to build a relationship that's really important to me in my life? Well, the answer for us is yes. So that time is going to be really valuable, really important that we spend with family. Or it's, you know, something, maybe it's something that you're allocating time to grow spiritually, and that's a high priority for you too as well. That's one for us. Maybe it's building, like for us, it's building our businesses and investing in relationships and connections and adding value in those ways. And looking at how is our investment, what's going to be our return on investment with this time. I'm just going to be really frank with you guys because I'm assuming you're watching this because you want to grow. But something I've fallen into the trap of before is like playing games on my phone. And while that can be fun and it can be like a kind of like a little bit of a release, it's not the best use of me. it's not the best return on investment for me. And I've been really blessed because Matt has pointed that out gently to me before, and that's really helped me to grow in that way. And so if that's you, or if something like that is something you tend to spend a lot of your time on, I want to encourage you to think about what's the return on investment when you play a game on your phone. Just thinking about that, just take some time to sit with that answer. I think that can be a really powerful, question when you really ask yourself, what is my return on investment? And then looking for ways to outsource. Like if there's something that that somebody else could do, or you're able to, outsource, find another person to be able to do that thing. It can be a really valuable use of your time. For example, I don't cut my own hair and color my own hair because I don't want to learn and have to do that and try to do it myself and all the things. I just go to somebody who has a training in that area, and it's my friend Katie, and she does an amazing job, and it's like 3 hours really well spent, and money really well spent in my opinion. And I usually see her a couple times a year, and that's like a really good use of me, instead of me trying to learn about how to cut hair and coloring and all these things that I don't really know anything about. And it's not really a good use of me. I mean, I could if I was interested in that, but that's not where I want to spend my time. And I know you brought some other ones up that we have done.
Yeah, I mean, you can get people to mow your lawn. You can get people to, if you have a small business and you need somebody to do web design, again, if you want to learn those things, then you can, but you really have to be honest about whether or not is that providing value to you and your business, or is that or you're just not doing it because you think it's too expensive. And yeah, I think there are times when you do have to buckle down and do it, but a lot of times at the same point, people just don't want to spend the money, and they haven't really done an analysis of, really what's the cost of that compared to what I could be doing if really my value is bringing in more clients or talking to customers or selling to customers. But I'm going to spend, 20 hours trying to design a website that I could pay $100 or $200 or whatever. I don't know the cost. And it would really be, I'm really losing money because I'm trying to learn how to do web design. And we just are frugal and don't want to spend the money. So you're really looking at those opportunities to outsource things, even things like going to the grocery store or having it delivered, like looking for small ways that are going to open up an hour or two a week. That maybe you're saying, well, now I don't have time to exercise, I got to go get groceries. Well, if you just did outsource that, you would have time to exercise. So again, that goes back to being honest about your time and where it's really going, and thinking outside the box, thinking outside of what you've typically done so far, and really cutting out those excuses for why you can't do X, Y, and Z.
I totally agree. I was thinking of too, let's say, like for example, I've been doing a leadership course recently. Well, that takes some money, but I know my return on investment is going to be huge in comparison to how much I'm spending on this leadership course. And so to me, it is so worth it because I know that it's investing in me and the way that I'm growing, and that's going to have repercussions for the rest of my life. And I'm so grateful for that. And so I think, like you said, sometimes we get so hung up on the numbers, and yes, there are times where we got to buckle down, but a lot of the time it just takes an open mind to go, okay, but is this really the best use of me? Or could I really get something out of this? Like by having the website, then I'm going to grow that much faster, or whatever it is. My name's going to get out there or whatever. And looking at the long-term results of whatever it is that you're investing in, maybe it's financially or otherwise.
I mean, that's a reason that CEOs have assistants, because their time isn't best spent doing schedules and figuring out, who to have meetings with
and answering the phone.
Answering the phone. I mean, that would be silly if they can answer a phone. Sure, they can do a schedule, but is that using their time appropriately? No. and shifting your mindset to, I'm the CEO of my life, I'm the CEO of my time.
Yep.
Whether or not you have a business or not, that's not the point.
Yep.
Whether or not you just go about your day and manage your house and your children and whatever, you're the decision maker, you're, you know, the operating officer. So thinking of yourself that way and delegating when it's appropriate is what you should be looking to do. And that's an area of growing in your own leadership, self-leadership, and leadership of your family, is moving into those to where you can outsource. And some of the things that you brought up that kind of came to mind is you can maybe bless other people with those. Like, so the person who cuts our yard is a good friend and he has a small business. So that's awesome that we can support his business. And the person that cuts your hair is a friend and has a small business. That's awesome that we can support her as well. And so looking for ways that you can, you know, help other people that are trying to grow their business or whatever it might be is also a really cool opportunity. That you're not just alleviating time for you, you're helping people grow their business and help them spend time doing what's bringing value for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. And I even see, like, for example, with my friend Katie who cuts my hair, like, I know she loves cutting hair. Like, it's something that she just has always loved, you know? And that's great. Like, I want her to be able to do something, like, why not pay her to do something she already loves to do? And the last point we wanted to make, the last tip we have for you, I'm sure we could keep going, but is learn to say no. This is a tricky one, but it's worth it to say no, to guard your time. And I think exactly fitting in with what you just said, Matt, you're the CEO of your life. You don't need to give a reason why you're saying no. You don't need to give, like, even if, like, for example, with me, I have a pretty flexible schedule. I teach at different times. I work my Arbonne business at different times. Just because I don't have a 9 to 5 doesn't mean that I just have this wide open schedule where I can just do anything at any time and drop everything, right? And so it's okay for me to say, no, I don't teach during those times. Or no, I can't come right now, but I can come at 3 or whatever it is. And to say no, or to say this is a better timing for me, is okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying, like, either no is a full sentence or a full explanation.
Yeah, complete
because
sentence,
we feel like we have to, no because XYZ, no because XYZ. You don't, no, that's it. And that should be the end of the discussion. And if somebody keeps pushing you, then you know that their motives maybe are questionable. Yeah. And, you know, people will take your time. People will be happy to take your time if you're willing to give it away for free. Yeah. And I'm not saying about for free, like you need to charge people for things, but no. People will take up your time and use it if you're not guarding it. And obviously we want to be generous, but there are times that you need to say no to certain things, even good opportunities. Even good things. Sometimes you have to say no because there's something better that you're either doing or you're looking forward to that you want to save and reserve that time for. And I think that requires some confidence in yourself to know when to say no, as well as, you know, being willing to risking hurting people's feelings because you may have to say no to things that, you know, they really want you to do or whatever. And you have to get over the feeling bad about that because you have to make the right decision for what's best for you and your family.
Yeah, this goes along with setting boundaries, which I did a live video on this on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, I think you might, if you want to go down this road more, I think you might appreciate that. But you know, when we say no to something, it's so that we can say yes to something else. And when we say yes to something, we have to say no to other things, and we have to realize that it's just part of prioritizing in our life. You know, our anniversary is this week. And for some reason, like, that day has been separate from, like, that we have anniversary plans in my mind some of the time. Some of the time it's been there, some of the time I keep forgetting. So I have to remember that. And it's important that we guard that time because that's our time to celebrate. And that's our time to have one-on-one time to celebrate and to appreciate what we've built together over the last 11 years. But if I'm not guarding that time, I am hurting our relationship, and I'm damaging something that's supposed to be good, and by saying yes to something else because I feel bad about whatever. Obviously, I need to prioritize our relationship and that time together. And so just like thinking about those things, I think when we think about it from that perspective of these are my priorities, and if it doesn't fall in those lines, then it's just a no. And when you get to that point, it does take practice, but when you get to that point, you really do feel so much better about how you're spending your time, and you can live your life in such a joyful way and in a different way.
Yeah, and you need to get to a place that you don't feel bad about saying no to other people that are trying to take advantage of your time. Sometimes it's well-meaning, but sometimes it's not. And like I said, people can be, again, like I said, they want to suck your time away. And so you have to be very careful and, again, like not feel bad when people... I like to have plans a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead. I don't like being called. I don't like there being spur of the moment things. Now, that's fine if there are, that can happen. But if we already had plans, then you shouldn't. This happens all the time that somebody will say, can you do whatever? And then you almost feel bad because you already had plans for something else. And you have to get over things like that about hurting people's feelings. And even if the plan was for just me and Megan to spend time at home, that's a good enough plan. It doesn't have to be that we were flying to Jamaica for the weekend. Like whatever you guys are deciding, what your family is deciding to prioritize, if you're going to sit home and twiddle your thumbs, that's a good enough reason to not do something else. Yeah. And you have to learn that is okay. That, have the self-confidence that you can stand up for your family and your schedule and prioritize those things that is best for you and your family's health and well-being.
Yeah, and I feel like we could keep going on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The other thing is just that it can also be saying no to yourself, because the tendency could be like, I want to sit and watch Netflix and for 3 hours. I want to stay up till 3 a.m.
Right.
But that's not good. And so you have to learn to say no to yourself and think about what we talked about before. What is my bigger purpose? What am I really trying to accomplish?
Exactly.
And me staying up till 3 isn't accomplishing what I need to do tomorrow.
Exactly.
And so not just being able to say no to other people, we have to learn to say no to our own desires that aren't serving our bigger purpose.
Right. Yeah, there's so many things. I feel like we could keep going on about this, but one of the last things we wanted to say is not having time is a myth. Not having time is never the real issue. The real issue is, are you willing to take an inventory of your time and be honest about it? And usually we don't want to say the real reason that we don't want to do something. So if you're saying I don't have time to somebody, start evaluating, why did I say that? And really be honest with yourself first, and then also try to be honest with that person. And if it's a no, then that's fine. It's a no. But let's stop lying to ourselves. Let's stop lying to other people and going along with this myth that we don't have any time. Because I can guarantee you right now, whatever you're trying to accomplish or whatever you want to do is possible. And people who have less time than you do, as far as free time, if you will, are able to do those things. Like, they've already proved it. And so, if you might think, I have 2 kids, my time is completely jeopardized. I can guarantee you right now there are people with 7 kids that are making XYZ work, and they have less, quote, free time than you do. Or whatever it is. Fill in the blank with what your particular situation is. But you can get smarter with your time, like we were just saying, outsourcing, spending your time in wise ways as opposed to kind of, peeing it away with things that aren't going to be a good return on investment.
Yeah, I think it comes back to, like you said, to being honest with yourself and other people. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves when people say, like, I don't have time to do either something for themselves or something like with a group if it's getting together. And it's like, yeah, like you said, just be honest, say it.
Yeah.
Like, say it out loud. Say to everybody, just say what it is. It's not a priority right now. And that's fine.
That's okay.
At least then that releases you. Like,
Yes.
I don't want to come to that thing, but people don't want to tell you that. So they say, I don't have time.
Yeah.
And we need to start saying what the real reason is and being honest with our group of friends, our group of our family, and ourselves. And it's not a priority for me right now. And then that's also freeing for you too, because let's say that I said I want to start a business. I keep saying I want to start a business, but I never do. Well, now this starting a business is weighing on my mind, that
Yeah.
I know I want to start a business and I'm not doing it, so I feel guilty. So then I don't feel confident, so I feel like I'm letting myself down.
Right.
At least if I say, it's not a priority right now, I need to set that aside till 2022. Then that burden is gone, because I'm not lying to myself and saying I want to start a business. I know that I'm not going to do that for at least another year. And so I don't have that. There's this tearing in myself saying that there's this incongruity that says I want to start a business, but I'm not. And I feel internally, and I think some of this is subconscious, that I'm lying to myself.
Yeah.
And so that isn't a good place to be in. And so we need to not be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings and say, no, I can't do that right now. It's not a priority. I can't be a part of that Bible study right now. And just say what the truth is and then move on. And I think, even with why we do that too it makes us, we feel like it's a past we can get past, that everybody understands. Oh, nobody has time. That's right. Yeah. We none of us have time. That's the thing we all say is we're too busy. We don't have time. And so we feel like it's then, oh, it's okay, Megan, you don't have time. It's all right.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat.
Right.
And then you go on for another 2 years and you don't work out because it's okay. And sometimes
it's a cultural thing. Like we can all just be okay together, be crabs in the bucket together. Like it's all good. We all know what it's like to not have time, because none of us have time. And then guess what? None of us love living that way either. Like nobody loves to not have time to do stuff that they want to do. Like nobody loves that. Yet we keep choosing that, and we keep speaking that over our lives, and we keep using that as an excuse. And I think what we're saying is, for the two of us, we've stopped saying that to ourselves, and we've started to get honest. Either it's not a priority right now, or we make time for it. We make it a priority. And we're not magical. We don't have more hours in the day than somebody else. We've just gotten serious about, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to live our life. This is what we want to spend our time on. And I think, if you're watching this, like I said earlier, I think you want to make a change. And making a change means sacrificing how you've been acting and thinking and living up to this point, and doing away with your old life to embrace a new one, to embrace a new way of thinking about things and living.
And we've talked about that before, that I think that mental loop of I don't have time plays, we've talked about that subconscious. Yep. And so next time you hear yourself say that, stop that tape and say no. Either I'm going to make time for this, or it's not a priority right now. And that is going to change your mindset, because you're going to start noticing, oh, wait a second, I just really don't want to do this, or it's not a priority, or I do want to do this, I'm going to make time for it.
Yeah.
And that authenticity with yourself, that truth with yourself is going to help you a lot. Again, like I said, even things you probably don't notice, is that this incongruity with what you're saying and how you're acting is really tearing yourself down.
Yes.
And putting you into a place that you're not coming across as the best version of yourself, because there's this thing inside of you where you're saying one thing but you're doing another, and that's not a good place to be in.
Yeah, it tears down the trust that you've built with yourself. And I think the important thing with this entire conversation is looking at, we're almost halfway through the year, looking at your time and evaluating it. This is a perfect opportunity. Right now is the perfect opportunity to take a look at things, to evaluate where you are, to create a schedule, to think about your time as a financial investment, and to start saying no. Just start saying no, and start getting clear on, these are the hours I'm going to work. These are the times I'm going to do social engagements, whatever it is, and start getting clear on it. And then everything else outside of it, it's an easy no. It's just like a contract that you make with yourself. You know, if somebody came along and said, can I do this thing outside of the contract? You're like, no, because the contract says XYZ. So stop making things outside of your own contract and stop allowing other people's opinions and things to crowd out your own priorities. They're your priorities or your family's priorities. They're your boundaries that you set, and that's it.
Yeah, and maybe I'm coming across as harsh, so I'll give a personal example, because I think this is really, really important, and where one area that I failed in this and have tried to do better and have done better is, for a long time, there's a group here that gets together at 5:30 in the morning to play basketball. If you know me, I'm not a morning person. I like to stay up late. I still live like we're in college and stay up till 1 or 2 or 3 a.m.
We're night owls.
And for the longest time, I've said, I can't get up.
Yep.
I can't get up. I've told multiple people, I can't get up. I'm not a morning person. I've told 10, 20 people this over and over the past, since we've lived here. I've known about this. I can't get up. I'm not a morning person. And finally, a month or two ago, like, basketball is really important to me. I like the camaraderie. I like playing the physical exercise. And I said, I'm gonna, like, this is crap. Like, I keep saying this. There's no reason. I can get at 5:30. If there's people there, they can get up.
They can get up.
So there's nothing different about them. And so I started getting up and going. And yeah, it sucks. But eventually, either I'm gonna learn I got to go to bed earlier, or, you take a nap when you can, or your body adjusts. But there was it's fine. And I stopped saying, even before I started going, I stopped saying to people, I just said, it's not a priority right now, or I'm not making it a priority right now. Because previously telling people that was just an excuse. Yeah. And it made me feel better. Oh, well, they're not getting up either, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like it's okay. Right. And yeah, it is okay. That's fine. If you don't want to get up at 5:30, then don't. But I wasn't being honest, and I wasn't being the person that I wanted to be by saying that. And so now I can be the person who gets up at 5:30 and goes and plays basketball. And that makes, even that shift is a very big difference. Maybe it seems small, but it's a big difference. Absolutely. And anybody can do the same thing in whatever you're working towards, whatever that you keep saying that you can't do and you can't do. And nobody told me, oh no, you can get up at 5:30. Why are you saying that? Of course you can get up at 5:30. So you may not have a person around you that is telling you that, so you have to be that person. Yeah. And then once you become that person, then when you hear your friends give excuses, gently, if you're, they're good friends, you start calling them on that. Yeah. Because if you know that they really want to be a person that, works out or eats healthy or goes after a new career or goes after a relationship, you're not helping them by saying that's fine. Yeah. You need to have them question that and say it in a way that they start questioning themselves. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to yell at them and say, no, that's stupid. That, of course you can. Why is that? Why can't you get up at 5:30? Right. Couldn't you go to bed earlier? Or do you really want to do this? So help them question that belief, because like we've said, we don't even realize it. It's become so ingrained in us, we don't even realize it. Yeah. So help them, lead them to that, where they start questioning that on their own. So then they see, hey, actually, I do want to be the person that eats healthy. I do want to be the person that pursues a relationship. I do want to be what X, Y, or Z. And that can be a really powerful shift in their life that leads to other things down the road that are even bigger than getting up and playing basketball in the morning.
I totally agree. And I mean, that's a way to show love, like that's actually loving and being a real friend is gently in an appropriate way, pushing them and questioning their thinking, because that's going to help them out. I just felt like this was a really good discussion. And I know we went a little bit longer tonight, but I think it was a really needed one. And I feel like we could do more and more. We might do some spin-offs of this, I feel like, even, but we just really appreciate your time tonight. And like I said, I know it was a little bit longer, but please follow us on Instagram at No More Sundays with a Z. And we will be doing a giveaway for every 100 followers. Also share this, if you would, on your Facebook pages or profiles. Send it to somebody that you think needs this message, or that you think you thought of, or a friend that you're working with, an accountability partner, whatever that looks like for you, because we really believe that this message is really important. And of course, you can always watch us on YouTube, subscribe on there. It's No More Somedays. So we would just really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of No More Somedays.
Have a good week.
Bye, guys.